Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. So, I've been in the last 11 days on Zoom for 7 days. Um, and I've learned a lot, and I want to share just a little bit of some of what I learned, but mostly just tell you a little bit about coaching and what coaching actually is, because I know we hear the term a lot. You have business coaches, you have life coaches, you have all kinds of different coaches, but I wanted to tell you more about what it is that I do with certified high performance coaching. So you could liken coaching to, if you were to, for example, climb Mount Everest, you wouldn't do it on your own, right? You would have a Sherpa, you'd have somebody with you that's going to help you to get to the top. And coaching for me is a little bit like that, right? So the way we describe coaching is that it's an influence process that leads to discovery, to decision making, performance improvement, and better living. So let's kind of unpack that a little bit and talk about each of them separately. So it leads to discovery, right? So until we know what it is that we need to work on, until we get to know ourselves better, it's kind of hard to figure out where we want to go with like real certainty and with real conviction that this is what we want to do, who we are meant to be. It's also about asking the right questions to get you to your own decisions. It's not about the coach providing the answers, right? As a coach, I'm never going to be, this is what you should do, unless you get to a point where you get stuck, and then I can make some recommendations. But the basis is really for you to come up with your own truths, with your own solutions, because the more you come up with your own solutions, the more you're likely to implement them. Let's face it, nobody knows you and your life and what you've been through better than you. So as a coach, who am I to say, this is what you need to do? I haven't lived your life, right? So it's really about understanding who you are, where you are, where you want to go, kind of going through that discovery, right? Answering the questions, and making the right decision. Because when you make the right decision, that's when you start to see your performance improve. That's when you start to see things happening in your life and change happening. And that is extremely empowering. And the last one is that as you're going through these changes and you're implementing these changes, what happens? You live a better life, right? You enjoy your life more. You're more engaged with your life. You're more confident about the things that you do, the decisions that you make, how you want to move forward. So, in a nutshell, that's what coaching is about. And what makes CHPC, or Certified High Performance Coaching, different is a couple of different things. So, the first thing is that it's a science-based curriculum, which when I started coaching, I was like, well, I don't want to be the type of coach that, gets on the call and is driven by what necessarily the client wants to talk about that day, because it's important for me, it was important to have objectives and have outcomes that are delineated by a certain process. And that's what CHPC delivers. High performance coaching is a process that we follow. So we know what each of our sessions are. It doesn't mean that we don't talk about what the client needs during those sessions. We just do it within a specific context and within a specific framework. We also have worksheets, and we work through the same process during each of the sessions, which brings consistency, it brings continuity, and it adds a tremendous amount of value. And we don't just coach, we also teach along the way. So we'll ask some questions, and sometimes we can go into not necessarily why we're asking the question, but teaching through some of the points that come up as the client is going through their answers and through their epiphanies. And the best thing is, we're not here to be an accountability buddy. We're not here to be an accountability partner. There is some accountability built in simply because of the way we ask the questions. But the two things that are critical is that one, it's challenge based. So we ask questions that you don't necessarily think about, because those are the questions we feel that you should be asking yourself on a regular basis, so that you direct your life more. And talking about direction, it's forward oriented. So we're not going to go into the past. Excuse me. We're very rarely asked, well, why is that? Because why goes into more into the psychology, more into kind of the therapy part of it, which is not at all what coaching is about. So when you keep it forward oriented in terms of, okay, this is what happened, how can you do it better next time? How can you show up better next time? What are some of the things you can put in place so that this doesn't happen again? So we help you to talk through these things so that you have the tools and you develop new habits that can help you and sustain you in reaching your goal. And there's nothing more satisfying than when I get on a call with a client and they're like, hey, this is what happened, and it was just so different from how I would have handled it before you and I started working together, for example. So a huge amount of satisfaction, very personal satisfaction in getting you to reach your goals, right? And just one last thing that I wanted to share. When you look at satisfaction surveys of coaches worldwide, the average life coach normally gets a rating of a 7 out of 10. With high performance coaching, the average rating is 9.7 out of 10. Now that's a huge jump. And we get those results because of the way that we coach. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, just because my first week was all about coaching. This week was all about, how I can move forward with my business more effectively. But I really just wanted to share with you a little bit more about coaching, because I wanted you to understand the difference between what we do versus what life coaching is. And I also wanted to just share, because I've been on this journey now for 9 months and it's been absolutely fabulous. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I thought some of you might be curious as to what I do every day. So that's it for me. I wish you guys a fabulous weekend. Have a wonderful Friday, and I'll catch up with you next week. Till then, bye.